Global, BCTV News top stories.
On the fire lines near Naramata, the fire is still growing, and so too the fear. Returning to the family home, a story of loss that no one wants to experience. And what fell from the sky and damaged this car, you can't imagine.
Now, the News Hour.
Good evening. Parts of Naramata look more like a ghost town tonight, with some residents on evacuation alert moving out before they're forced to flee. The Okanagan Mountain Fire is tearing through brush and timber at a terrifying rate, and Naramata is in its path. The only good news today was that the weather was a little cooler. The winds were low and the fire guards were holding. But that's changing now. The winds are picking up, and so too the concern. More on our top story from Anna Gebauer.
Dawn over Lake Okanagan, and the smoke that has built up from the burning overnight settles in the valley. At first light, bulldozers ravaged the hillside of the Upper Mission Kettle Valley area of Kelowna, tearing down every tree in its path. The goal is to remove every bit of potential fire fuel and heap it into a massive pile to form a fire guard. If the flames reach this point, this guard will be the last line of defense for a community just meters away. How far up the line are you working here today?
Well, we're focusing from the area from the power line, which is just up around the bend here, maybe half a kilometer. And then we're going to head west over towards the Rimrock Timberline in hopes to connect up with the road that's being built by the forestry.
Bev Banks is sweeping the ash from her driveway, the accumulation from last night's aggressive fire behavior. And today, Bev is increasingly fearful about her home. Already, she has packed up her cars with her most precious belongings.
Because we haven't slept for like days and days. We've been packing for, I guess 3 days now. So we can't get anything more in our cars. Our cars are completely jammed.
On the other side of Okanagan Mountain near the village of Naramata, we get permission to cross the police line and enter the heart of a forest fire wasteland. This is just a minor example of what fire crews are up against, but the forest fires start on the ground. Then they catch fire to the lower branches of the trees. Fire crews call that ladder fuel, and then the flames go up to the top of the trees, starting what is called crown fires. By that point, it is very difficult for crews to get a handle on the situation. The fire jumps from treetop to treetop, and up in the sky there, that very big plume of smoke is an indication that that's exactly what's happening at elevation. Just meters from the flames stands a log house, and right now it's also a base for ground and air crews trying to save the property.
Yeah, if you can get a heli in here, that's 100 meters due west of the house, that'd be great. We chose this lifestyle. We knew we were going to be faced with this at some point, and we're fearsome we're going to lose it, but it's just one of those things. You have to accept it. You can't argue with Mother Nature.
Tonight, despite the efforts of fire crews, the Okanagan Mountain Fire has spread beyond 13,000 hectares. The winds are picking up, and crews are now bracing for what might happen overnight to make an already aggressive fire even more of a menace to neighboring communities.
We're seeing an increase in fire behavior behind us because of the winds. Significant winds from the south right now, gusting to 30 kilometers an hour. So the fire is going to continue to spread. It's going to continue to consume fuels. And our priorities, as we are in this area protecting structures, will continue to protect structures here and throughout the fire, and ensure that our safety is our primary importance to our crews and to all the general public.
Yep. Reg, fire crews now dealing with the last hours of daylight before they have to pull out and save themselves before it gets to be nightfall. Already we've been hearing that some crews have had to be evacuated. Basically, there's a very skeleton contingent of firefighters on the ground overnight, and what they do is just make sure that the fire doesn't leap across any fire guards. I'd like to point out just over my shoulder here that big plume of smoke. It looks almost like a mushroom cloud. That has been created by the Okanagan Mountain Fire, the fire that is causing so much trouble for people living in Naramata, the outskirts of Penticton, and of course southeastern residents of Kelowna. And right now, residents are becoming increasingly concerned about what's going to happen overnight, Reg.
Clearly looking windy there as well, Anna. That cannot be good news for the firefighting effort.
No, it's not good news. And what started off as a very calm morning and actually well up until early this afternoon, there was very little wind. But later this afternoon, the wind has picked up. We were hearing yesterday there were predictions that the winds would hit about 40 kilometers an hour coming from the southwest. That is absolutely terrible news for people living in the Kelowna area, in the Kettle Valley or Upper Mission area. And so it's a wait and see process for those residents right now. If that wind continues overnight, certainly fire crews could have even more of a horrendous battle on their hands in the morning.
All right, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Thank you, Anna Bauer in the Okanagan tonight. Crowds in downtown Vancouver.
Now, News Hour Final with Reg Hampton.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news. Thousands of residents on Kelowna's outskirts are being forced out of their homes this evening. The Okanagan Mountain Fire has jumped the fire guards and is now threatening over 1,000 homes. That means roughly 3,000 people are on the move at this hour. The call came in just after 8:30 this evening after word the blaze had spread into heavy timber a few hundred meters from homes. Our Anna Bauer is live in Kelowna tonight and joins us. Anna, what's going on right now?
Well, as you mentioned, 3,000 plus people are on the move from their homes in the Upper Mission area and the Kettle Valley area of Kelowna tonight. When we approached the city of Kelowna about 7 o'clock, 7:30, the smoke was so thick in the town we knew something was going on, and of course immediately we figured out that there was an evacuation in place, and we hurried up there to see what was happening with residents. What we found was staggering. We saw flames leaping over trees. We saw them jumping from treetop to treetop, a process called candling, and the fire spread so rapidly residents were forced to leave within minutes. Here's what it looked like just a little while ago.
There's a few helicopters flying overhead. They're dropping retardant about maybe 500 meters, I guess, ahead of us here, just around where the trees are.
As we approach Kelowna's Kettle Valley neighborhood, thick smoke fills the air, blocking out the evening sun. Ash is falling from the sky, and we are on the trail of some of the first responding fire trucks to the area. After days of being on evacuation alert, over 3,000 residents of Kettle Valley and the Upper Mission area have been forced to leave their homes. The Okanagan Mountain Fire is now on their doorstep.
You know what? And I held out to the last minute because I was really hoping I wouldn't have to move out. And I'm just a little emotional right now because I'm upset for all the people with families and babies.
How long did it take to actually get that far down the hill?
Not very long, probably a couple of minutes. It jumped a long ways in a hurry.
Well, my wife's a little panicked. She just ran in to get our bags. Everything's packed and ready to go. So.
It's just after 8 o'clock tonight, and as you can see, the fire is rapidly making its way down the crest of the hill. We've been speaking with residents, and they say in the last 2 minutes alone, they have seen that fire jump. It is going from treetop to treetop and rapidly making its way towards this development. As the fire rages closer to their homes, residents scramble to empty whatever they can from their homes into waiting vehicles.
Time to leave right now.
About an hour ago, it was like 4 kilometers away, but it just burst over the ridge.
Okay.
So,
Time to evacuate.
yes, thank you.
Time to leave.
It's time to leave, sir. Residents ignored the warnings as long as they could, hauling bits and pieces of furniture, determined to save whatever possible.
We're gonna have to go. Okay. This whole area's been evacuated. Okay. It's closed. Okay. Thanks.
As firefighters try to hold their ground, residents can't help but stand by and watch the devastation as the fire devours the landscape before them.
I think with the fire guard and with the clear cut in front of us and everything else, I still think we're going to be okay with the houses, but it won't be the same for years and years, so that's what's really got me going.
We have a lot of antiques, you know, we have a Victorian home, but we were kind of faced with what to take or what to leave, and so we actually didn't take very much.
It's awe. It's as you can hear it. It's like if you were up there, they're saying it's like a 747 taking off. You can hear it rumble if you just go down the block.
Within an hour, the entire neighborhood is evacuated, their homes abandoned and left to the mercy of a raging forest fire that seems to show no sign of stopping. Now, Reg, tonight we're hearing word from the Premier of the province, Premier Gordon Campbell, that he plans to visit this area. Apparently, as soon as he learned about the devastation here, he decided to hop on a plane. He will be here tomorrow. He wants to fly over the area. He wants to survey the damage, and he says he wants to do whatever he can to help. So no doubt residents of Kelowna will find that no doubt extremely comforting. Anybody around the province of British Columbia tonight who are wondering where their family members are tonight, we can tell them that anyone with the last names A to K are staying at the Parkinson Rec Center here in Kelowna. Anyone with the last name L to Z are staying at the new Kelowna Secondary on Raymer Street. So if you call officials in Kelowna, they can certainly point you in the direction, but certainly a very difficult situation for the city of Kelowna tonight. Reg.
Yes, thank you. Anna Gabauer reporting from a very tense Kelowna tonight. Now, this fire has proven very difficult. The terrain and speed at which it's moved in the last 48 hours has been almost incomprehensible. Catherine Urquhart looks at just how difficult a challenge the fire near Kelowna is proving to be.
At first light, bulldozers quickly moved in and took down rows of trees. The plan, to eliminate as much potential fuel as possible and establish a fire guard around the growing Okanagan Mountain Park fire. How far up the line are you working here today?
Well, we're focusing from the area from the power line, which is just up around the bend here, maybe half a kilometer. And then we're going to head west over towards the Rimrock Timberline in hopes to connect up with the road that's being built by the forestry.
Midday, the blaze was estimated at 13,000 hectares and still advancing towards more populated regions of Kelowna, like the Mission area. The 17-kilometer-long, 50-foot-wide fire guard was built as a last line of defense. Even with the guard, firefighters admitted they could only do so much.
Well, we saw an increase in winds this early afternoon, and within minutes there was a plume of smoke coming over the fire. So it's definitely, the potential still exists here until we get rainfall in this area. We still have a very, very explosive situation on our hands.
Area residents did what they could to help by cleaning up neighboring hillsides. Others made sure they were ready to flee their homes at a moment's notice.
We've been packing for, I guess 3 days now, so we can't get anything more in our cars. Our cars are completely jammed.
Throughout the day, more than 100 firefighters attacked the blaze using 50 pieces of heavy equipment and 11 helicopters. Still, it wasn't enough. By early evening, the flames had jumped the fire guard.
Back live to Kelowna now, where Global National reporter Francis Silvaggio is standing by. Francis, how are the evacuees handling that tense situation there tonight?
Well, as you can imagine, the one common thread through everything is people are very tired. This has been a very exhausting day for everyone. Some people have been waiting, they've been packing for the last couple of days. Some people just found out an hour ago that they had to get out. The extent of the evacuation is such that they've had to set up 2 centers that's been divided up alphabetically. We were at the Parkinson Rec Center, and really we saw the gamut of emotions. We saw people who were angry, people who were very scared, and people who were just relieved. The people who were angry feel not enough was done, that not enough notice was given. People who were obviously scared that they don't know what they're going to be going home to if and when they'll be allowed to go back to the home. And then there were some people who were just relieved. They knew it was coming, and they were just waiting for someone to finally say, you know, it's time to go. We're going to take care of it. You just need to go.
Impossible to imagine, Francis, what they're going through. Certainly, we're all hoping for the best for those people. What does this new fire movement mean for residents just north of Penticton near Naramata tonight?
Well, it's a bit of a double-edged sword because the wind shifted and it took the fire away, or it took the pressure off of the community just north of Penticton. But the bad news is what's happened here in Kelowna. There was actually a meeting right as this fire started to break here in Kelowna, and we knew something was happening because all the bigwigs who were there talking to the residents of that community, they started to run and scamper, so we knew something big was happening. As for the meeting itself, it was meant to give the residents there some sort of information, but it really provided very little. The questions that they were looking for is where exactly is this fire right now, how close is it to our homes, and when can we return? None of those answers could be provided. The only news that was given was the fact that The winds had died down in that area. They had shifted. The fire wasn't as much of a threat, but as we know, what's not a threat there has now become a big threat for the town of Kelowna.
Yeah, it sure has. Thank you, Francis Silvaggio in Kelowna. We'll have more reports from Kelowna later in the newscast tonight.